Welcome to the 25th episode of the Who, What, When, Where, and Why podcast. My name is Kathleen Johnson, and I'm your host and YMCA Marketing Director. My guest today is Miss Jenny Dallas, the Executive Assistant of the YMCA and the coordinator of both the Jack Marsh Golf Outing and the YMCA Turkey Trot. Welcome back, Jenny.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Okay, so Jenny's not new to the podcast program. You can check back on a few others. She's been with us before. But the purpose of today's spotlight is the two events that we're having this year to bring the community together, to find their motivation, to find their reason, to find their why. And so we're going to talk a little bit to Jenny about the two special events. But before we do, we're going to welcome you back by having you, again, tell us what's your passion about the why. When did you get started? Where do you get your inspiration? And why do you do what you do? The who, what, when, where, and why. Yeah. It is a question. It's a lot of questions. That's okay. She can do it. I have full faith.
So I love the why because I actually grew up in the Tuscarawas County YMCA. I took swim lessons there as a little kid. And so we were Y members as a family. And then, you know, after I grew up, went to college, came back home to be with family again, then rejoined the Y and had my own kids in preschool and swim lessons and just involved in all that kind of stuff. And then I started working there because I was there a lot anyway. So
right.
Just kind of evolved from there. So yeah, I love the Y. I think that it has a great mission of bringing people together and supporting our community members and people that could use some help, and is just a great community to be part of.
Yeah, and so you can see Jenny and her family quite a bit at the Y, but even her and her husband, Chris, she's making him get in there and work out. And what we've always loved about the YMCA is that once you become an employee of the Y, it's pretty much your whole family just became involved.
Yes, they're all volunteers.
Yes,
so.
They're all volunteers. They're high on our volunteer list as well. Her kids are getting older, so they're getting to do a lot more things. I know my husband hides from me now, like, hey, I'm going over the Y. Did you? And he's like, no, God, I have got something else to do. So we'll see if Christopher starts hiding from you. But
he's still a willing volunteer right now. So.
Yeah, so you'll see that, and you'll see Christopher at the Jack Marsh Golf Outing and at the Turkey Trot, as well as the rest of the family. So, so before we get started, I thought it would be fun, since we're going to talk golf, to see if you knew, and you probably do, why golfers yell "Fore" on the golf course.
I believe that is because the ball is going forward and they don't want to, hit anybody. So it's sort of a warning.
True. It's a warning. So do you have any idea where that came from? I mean, why don't they just yell 2 or 3, but it's not spelled the same? Right. Number one, it's not a number.
Possibly short for forward, as their ball is going forward. That's my guess.
That's your guess? Yeah. Okay, well,
Best guess right there.
Let me tell you the actual answer to that. So there's some theories, and I got this from the Independent Golf Reviews website of why, where this came from. So one popular theory for yelling "Fore" is actually derived from the word "fore caddy." In the United States Golf Association defines a fore caddy as someone who's employed by the golf course or a player to watch where the ball falls.
Okay.
A forward mentioned fore caddy's role, and still in some instances, is to wait to where the ball lands, most frequently giving the caddies the best line of sight to each golf ball and allowing the players to reduce the number of lost balls on a round. So due to the distance gap between the players and the fore caddies, the players would shout "Fore caddy" to alert the caddy that the ball was coming. Okay, and then that was just too long, and so they shortened it to "Fore."
Okay.
And so they would yell it so that he knew the ball was headed in his direction, right? So that's the one theory.
Oh,
there are more.
There's more.
There's two more. The second theory is more artillerymen in the olden days would shout beware before as a warning to a nearby soldier to drop to the ground before friendly gunfire.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with golf.
Nothing to do with golf whatsoever.
Beware before is quite a mouthful on the front lines, and so that also got shortened, like a lot of things do, to fore, and they would drop to the ground. Now, out on the golf course, I'm pretty sure you don't see people just drop to the ground. They all look up when they yell fore, right? So they're going to get hit probably square in the forehead.
True.
And so the third thing for screaming fore, the prefix fore, has roots in history dating back to the Middle Ages. It's commonly understood that the game of golf originated in Scotland. In the Scottish, the word fore is shortened for before, so you were close to this one. However, in Scotland, fore was used as a warning message. It meant look out ahead, which is why many believe that you yell fore, because the game originated in Scotland.
Okay.
There you have it. So you learned something.
Yeah.
In the first couple minutes of the podcast, you finally learned something from the who, what, when, and why.
Facts you didn't know about
Yes. Yeah. All right. So now we need to know, who is Jack Marsh? It's a question. Let me show you a picture of this gentleman. This is Jack. And Jack Marsh was a volunteer at the YMCA, not employed by the Y, I believe, just a volunteer, which is never just, right? Him and his family, this is another really great picture of the Marsh men in a scuba gear.
That one's up on our history
wall, this one's
right?
on our history wall, which is really awesome. There's another couple pictures of the Marsh family up there, including Mrs. Marsh, who became a board president, the first woman board president. But the Marsh family was part of the YMCA for long, long periods of time. Great fundraisers for the Y, hard workers for the Y, and still to this day are amongst our board president, right? Is he coming into the seat?
Brian Marsh II is the incoming board of directors president.
So Brian Marsh, who did a lot of things in the phases of renovation that we had throughout the YMCA in the new building, he was a very big pusher and getting the job done as far as making sure that everything was built correctly and that kind of stuff. Was very educated in that. A local business owner, and followed along in his father's footsteps and his grandfather's footsteps. And so we are super, super happy. So that's Jack Marsh. It's confusing because, as Jenny says, Jack and John kind of goes in the same, but they're John Marsh Sr., Jack Marsh is the one that we have put this golf outing as a memorial to.
Yes.
Because he must have liked golf. I'm hoping.
I assume so, yes.
So, we're going to assume so. So tell us a little bit about the golf outing. What makes this golf outing stand out from the rest of the golf outings, do you think?
So this golf outing was really fun. It's usually kind of small, but we get a lot of support from the community in sponsorships and putting teams in. You'll see lots of Y people there when you go. Yes. And it's just a really good time. You know, people come not necessarily to win, but to spend time with their friends and see who else is golfing and kind of make fun of each other sometimes, you know.
Sometimes.
It's a really good time. You get a steak dinner at the end after you've done your play, and well,
that's not the only meal. I mean, we're serving breakfast, right?
Yes.
So you're getting some of that light breakfast. You get the hot dog at the turn, so you get lunch.
Yep.
And then you get a steak dinner. So it improves as the day goes on.
Yes.
Plus snacks
Yes.
all day long.
There's snacks packed in your goodie bags, so you won't go hungry. And drinks come out to you in the beverage carts, which you may see Brian Marsh driving occasionally. So, so we've got beverage carts going out, and it's just lots of fun, lots of food, and
some of my favorite memories of this. I've been going to this Jack Marsh golf outing for how many years? This is the 22nd. So I've been with the Y for 23 years, so I could have been almost at every one of these. But some of my favorite thing is to see like board members and friends, and they're in their foursomes, and they're just having a really good time. And even just when Ann Marsh used to come out and help us and kind of sit, she was like our honorary Marsh at the golf outing. It was always just great to see her out there and have fun with them. But this really is a fun golf outing. It's a what they call a scramble.
Right.
So you don't have to be great, right? You just have to have somebody on the team that can hit the ball.
Right. It is an
and
amateur
someone
outing,
who can putt.
But
right. It's an amateur outing, right? So, and there's some hole-in-ones, right? Some big prizes.
Are some big prizes. So we have 4 hole-in-ones. So you could win $20,000 toward a car, or airline tickets, or an electronics package, or a set of golf irons to practice your games more. So.
And this has happened, right? I think in the history of that golf outing that there has been a hole-in-one.
I believe so.
Yeah. So it could be your year. You might want to come out and do that. You might get lucky. Talk about some of the other things that are going on at the holes, because like I take a cornhole with me out to my spot.
We have some just fun games at several of the holes. So there's chip in the cornhole, where you try to get your golf ball in the cornhole. We do an in the circle game, where if you get your ball in the circle, you can win prizes. We do a plinko. And last year we started a Hole of Fortune game. So
yes,
that's got some good fortune and some bad fortune on it.
It's a big wheel.
All the games are optional. It's just a little something fun.
That's funny. I don't let my game is never optional.
You're like,
I'm like,
no,
just hit the ball. It's free. What are you doing?
Right. Yeah.
So they do have, it is a lot of fun. Beverage carts, everything once you get on the course is free, right?
Yes.
So you come, you pay. How much is it for the golf teams to go?
So it's $400 per team, and we do 4-person team scramble.
Okay. And so once they pay their $400, they go to the table, they can buy these things called mulligans.
Yes. So mulligans are popular. Mulligans, in case you don't know, that's like a free do-over. So you can get as many of those as you want. We don't have a limit. It's just everything's on the honor system.
You do have to buy those.
You do have to buy those, but you can buy as many as you want. So
okay. So you have these mulligans, and then there's also something else that we saw.
There's red tees. So I had to learn all of this because I've never played golf before. So my first golf outing frienders, there was like, I need someone who plays golf to explain these things to me.
Okay.
So we do red tees, and that is 1 per person. So at any hole of your choice, you can
other than a hole-in-one.
Other than a hole-in-one,
okay.
You can tee off from the red tee, which are the women's tees, so they're a little bit closer.
Oh, yes. Good.
So you can also purchase red tees.
Okay.
And then we have the skins game, which you'll have to get your golf course person to explain to you. It's very complicated.
That's a mystery. We need to call a friend on that one.
Yeah, but Craig at Oak Shadows takes care of all of that one for me. So there are certain holes where you play the skins game, and it's like you get so many strokes or something, and if you win, then Craig lets me know, and then you win the skins game.
So let's do a shout out to Craig. Where are we? What golf course are we on?
We are at Oak Shadows Golf Club in New Philadelphia.
Yeah. And if you've ever golfed out there, you know who Craig is. He is the master of the steak grill.
He is.
I used to love it when he would make us hamburgers at lunchtime too. I'm trying to get that to come back, but he is super funny.
He is. He's a dry sense of humor guy, but he's very funny.
I think for the first 10 years I was afraid of him. Now I'm not afraid of him. I love to see him. And I think he just is like, oh, no, here she comes. She's going to drive me crazy while I'm here. I'm an old boy, Kathleen. Here she comes. But yeah, super fine. I think he has a soft side, and I think we've found it.
I think so.
He likes our golf.
I think so.
I think he likes us out on there. We don't make him hang the huge banner up on we used to make him do this great big banner up on the top of the clubhouse thingy, put it up there, and you have to get up on a ladder and stuff. And then every year we'd leave it and have to come back
collect it at some later time.
Be like, how can you it's still hanging there when you guys drive out. But yeah, he would call us and be like, you guys forgot your banner again. So now we just have a sign in the ground, so we don't forget.
Much easier to take with us. Yes.
Yeah, but I do think he likes having the Y people out there. I think it is a great day for him. We've had great weather, knock on wood. Yes. We're gonna have another great day again this year. So if I'm not a golfer, are there other ways I could get involved?
Absolutely. So I need volunteers every year at the golf outing. So we have people help set up with registration, people out at the holes running the games, and there for the hole-in-one. So volunteers are always needed. And then we also always take donations. So we have sponsors, but you can also just donate to the annual campaign, which is what the golf outing is fundraising for.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the annual campaign, Jenny. I know we've done spots on that before, but just as an update for people.
Yeah. So the annual campaign is something we do every year, and it finances our financial aid scholarship program at the Y. So it goes toward memberships and program scholarships so that anyone who wants to come to the Y and become a member or take a program, do swim lessons, anything like that, if they are unable to afford that themselves, the annual campaign goes toward helping them achieve that.
Yeah. So last but not least, I think we're the only one that plays the orange ball. So we are playing orange ball, right?
Yes, we are playing the orange ball game.
I feel like that's a thing with us. It's the orange ball game. So talk to us about that.
Some people love it, and some people try to lose their orange ball as quickly as possible.
Some people just throw it into the woods
like,
as soon as they start. Yeah. That's gone.
But there are chances to win another orange ball throughout the course at the game, so you can always get your orange ball back. Yeah. So the orange ball game is played concurrently with the regular scramble. And it is just, you play it through each hole. So you rotate. So each golfer plays the orange ball at whatever the next hole is. And if you lose it, then, like I said, you'll get a chance to get another one. You could win one back at one of the games. Whoever has whatever team still has their orange ball at the end, whoever scores the best, they will win the orange ball game. So we have before had somebody win the scramble and the orange ball game, in which case it will go like to the next person, so that you're not winning
hogging all the prizes. Yes, we're the Y. We try to be fair.
Right.
Across the board. Yeah, I love the orange ball game. I think it's funny.
It is.
But it does get different reactions from different groups.
Yeah. You give that orange ball out at registration, and you get all kinds of different reactions to that. Like either people are really happy that they're, that they have it, or they start talking about how soon they're going to lose it and like the strategy for that with their teams. So.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's really only one bad shot, and that can be gone for the rest of the time. We don't have to worry about it. And we try to make sure, I think, that they return the orange ball.
They have to return the orange ball at the end. That way we know that they're,
So there is a possibility you'll end up with two orange balls. Maybe you won one somewhere in the court and you do end up with another orange ball. But most of the time you don't, and we do not let you save it for next year.
Right.
There is no saving the orange ball. This is an caring, honesty, respect, responsibility. Four values of the YMCA. So we try to keep everybody on their good game. There was a year that we sold 50-50, and I think, are we doing that again this year?
We are doing that again this year. Okay. Yes, so 50/50 tickets are available. So if you win that, then half of what comes in you get to keep, or you can donate back to the Y. That happens sometimes, which is very nice.
Beverages free, or do they pay?
Beverages are free.
Beverages are free.
Starting from coffee at breakfast.
Let's repeat that.
All the way through dinner.
Beverages are free on the course, and the beverage truck is available, and we've got plenty for people to drink out there and have a good time. Anything else that you can think of that we haven't talked about that golf outing? Except, where are you? Are you coming to the golf outing? Because you should.
Right.
You should be there. How do we register?
So you can register in person at the Y. You can register online through the website or through a flyer. There's a little QR code on here and a link. So you can register your team that way as well.
If I have a business, can I be a whole sponsor still? There's still spaces?
There are no whole sponsor spaces left.
Whoa, look at us this year.
We have done very well with sponsorships this year. There's been a lot of support from the community. So
awesome. So we just need you as a volunteer or a player.
Yes.
Or just donate to the Y because you want to. And It's the right thing to do. So that's the golf outing. Tell me the date.
It is going to be August 17th. That's a Thursday. And registration starts at 9, and then shotgun start for the scramble is at 10.
So really not we hope that you'll be registered before you come. It's a check-in.
It's check-in.
Check-in starts at 9.
And buying, your mulligans and your 50/50 tickets and your red tees and all that. Yeah, all that.
Yeah. And then if you want, I'll even carry your carts to your cart. Your clubs to your cart. if you need someone to do that. If you bring an extra change with you, you can always tip your cart riders or whatever. We would be glad for that as well. So snacks, we having Cracker Jacks this year. I think it's pretty important.
Cracker Jacks will
it's
be
Cracker
a game
Jack,
prize.
which is Jack and John.
Yep.
Marsh.
We'll have Cracker Jacks as a game prize. So play the games. You'll get your Cracker Jacks and your payday candy bars and suckers.
So you can play all kinds of things, have all kinds of treats for your kids when you go home in your bag, or just save them for the next time that you go. All right. So quick shout out to the Turkey Trot, because that's your next event, right after this. So once we get done with the golf outing, we'll go straight to forwarding all our efforts to the craft show and the Turkey Trot. But let's talk Turkey Trot.
So Turkey Trot is going to be on Thanksgiving Day, as usual. That this year is Thursday, November 23rd. Race starts at 9 a.m. And you can registration's going on right now. So you have to register online at Enmotive. So you can find that link on our website, tuscymca.org, to get registered. And the sooner you register, the better price you get.
Cheaper it is.
Right.
It's also part of the Ohio Valley Challenge, right?
Yes, the Ohio Challenge Series. So if you're doing that, that race is part of that series.
Yep. So fun prizes this year going out. We're going to do some special prizes, special trophies for oldest, youngest, all that kind of stuff. Yep. So we're going to have some fun with that this year. Jenny's taken over as race director, so we'll know it'll be a fabulous event. So we're excited about that. Also part of Healthy Tusk. So if you're thinking about getting ready for the Turkey Trot, do I have to be a good runner?
Absolutely not. You can walk, you can run, you can be a competitive runner. You can bring your dogs and your strollers and your kids if you want to.
Right. Last year, do you remember our number?
900. It was over 900.
Yeah, over 900 runners.
Yeah.
So, your speed demons are in the front, man. They get that front row and they're gone, and that's okay. Let them go. It's their day too. And so, but it's on Thanksgiving Day. So if you're looking to get rid of your family so you can cook peacefully in your kitchen the way you would like, send them all out to the Turkey Trot in the morning.
Get all that exercise in before you get your turkey dinner.
That's right. Always get a fun shirt. So there's always a t-shirt involved, and great trophies. Talk to me about sponsors. Do we have some sponsors you want to give a shout out to as far as for even the golf outing?
Yes, golf outing. So we have some corporate sponsors this year. We got some new ones as well. So just thank you to Denny Plastics Machining, Williams Furniture, Wendy's, Xerox and Comdoc, Black McCuskey, Pioneer 360, and Steve and Becky Maston.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Great group of people. So much to be involved in at the Y. Jenny, you already did the 10-question speed round, so we're not going to do that this time. Will be the first time. Yeah, we'd have to go back to see if her answers were the same from the one before, but she's already done it. So we're just going to, again, put a shout out to all our volunteers, all our sponsors, everybody that's making the Y a great place to be. Remind people that the Y Fitness Center is open 24/7, and a lot of great changes come into the Y. We've got a new executive director, Megan Shaheen. She's been on our podcast as well. Take a look at her interview from the past. Next month, my goal is to bring in the Meet the Teachers. So you'll be getting to see our new preschool teachers and meet our new child care director, Sarah.
Yeah.
So some changes, some all great things coming to the Y. And so if you haven't been there in a while, come and not only take a look at what's great and offered now, the playground, all the new things that are up there, but take a look at the history wall. I mean, go back and see our founders, the ones that have put the work in, whose families for generations, like the Marsh family, who have done so much for the YMCA to keep it strong, and keep us continuing into the next 100 years. So we welcome you into the YMCA. So this is the end of the 25th podcast. Remember, if you have a Y story or want to be on our podcast, please email me, Kathleen@tuscymca.org, because we can't wait to hear from you. Take a moment to check out our website as well at tuscymca.org, and follow us on Facebook and social media, Instagram, and also take a look at our podcast, because we love what we do at the Y. Keep a smile on your face, and we'll see you next time.